Peter, you get to go first because of a story in your paper tonight that was just handed us before we came on the air. Broad strokes of it is the president and his eldest children have filed federal lawsuit against Deutsche Bank and Capital One to prevent those companies from cooperating with subpoenas and coming forth with his financial records. People may ask, we know about Deutsche Bank, why Capital One? Capital One is where he has his personal checking account, giving new meaning, I guess, to what's in your wallet. What do you know about this story that can fill in the blanks?
Yeah, look, the president has openly said he's going to resist all subpoenas from Congress, from the House Democrats at the very least. And he's been, taking this on multiple fronts. Last week, he filed lawsuits like this to prevent his own accountants from responding to congressional subpoenas because, in fact, he doesn't control those institutions. He doesn't decide for them whether they should comply with subpoenas by Congress. And those institutions are reluctant, of course, to get on the bad side of a congressional subpoena. That has legal implications and it has other implications as well. So he's trying to force and strong arm, in effect, the institutions he's done business with to stick with him as opposed to Congress. Now, it's hard to see how a judge rules on that. We haven't seen this kind of thing very often in the past. But the argument that they have made is that this is just political. Well, Congress is political, and it seems to me it's hard to see a judge saying that he's going to step in or she's going to step into a political process and declare something is political, that therefore it's illegitimate.
But it was the New York Times interview with this president, Peter, where he answered the question in the affirmative, would it be a red line if they tiptoed into your finances, correct?
Yeah, that's right. We were there. I was there for that interview, in fact, in the middle of 2017. And the question was if Robert, it was talking about Robert Mueller, of course, at the time. Now we're talking about Congress, in effect, the same kind of scenario in which what happens if investigators go beyond the Russia collusion brief? What happens if they go beyond the immediate mandate that Robert Mueller was given to look at what happened in the 2016 election? And he said that would, in fact, cross a red line. And you kind of see it here. But he's declared a much broader red line when it comes to the House Democrats. He's saying he won't answer questions or allow people to answer questions or provide documents, even on things he already gave or were already testified to with Robert Mueller. He's saying that we gave at the office, in effect. If Mueller already investigated, why should these House Democrats repeat that effort? It's all political and partisan. And I think he's got an audience that's of supporters, at least, who are very receptive to that argument.
So, Ashley Parker, you look at tomorrow's White House schedule, and it looks for all the world like a normal White House. He is having last year's NASCAR champion to the White House, as presidents often do. They're having an event on infrastructure, which has become kind of a gag line on broadcasts like this one. Except for that, Ashley, is there any other discernible focus of this administration beyond what we see from the president himself in the storyline on social media?
Not really. I mean, the thing about Twitter is a real-time sort of insight into what this president is thinking at any given moment. And so, yes, the joke is always the infrastructure week goes off the rails. I think there's reason to believe that Chuck and Nancy will be going over there to actually push an infrastructure plan. And it'll be interesting to see what the president does. Of course, we can sort of look at his Twitter feed and see what's top of mind. So there is a world in which he sort of sets aside all of the combativeness that's going on with House Democrats and Senate Democrats, frankly, and says, look, this is one of these bipartisan areas where we can make a deal. And there is another equally, if not more likely world in which those topics on social media, his preoccupation with Vice President Biden, his frustration over immigration, his frustration and also alleged vindication for the Mueller probe are what he potentially calls news cameras in and talks to these Democrats about. And so everything on social media sort of colors what he's thinking and where we should imagine that conversation tomorrow will go.
Bob Costa, take on any of it, take on all of it. And were we right at the top of the broadcast to question this Barr disagreement with Democrats? Could be a giant distraction. He could have every intention of participating in the hearing.
Let's come back to that and come back to the Deutsche Bank story. A big development tonight because you have to step back and think about the chess match that's going on between the White House and House Democrats. House Democrats know that Secretary Mnuchin is over there at the Treasury Department, in essence, defending the president's tax returns from Richie Neal, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. So how do they go after the president's finances and try to find out more, knowing that Robert Mueller did not reveal, if anything, much at all, in his report about the president's finances. They go to the banks, and they're trying to pressure Deutsche Bank and others to cooperate. And the banks tonight in their statements don't seem to be backing off of working with Congress because they want to have that relationship with Capitol Hill. And so this is the president pushing back, trying to protect his own financial information. But Congress believes they need to learn more about where the president's finances are around the world, where he has different ownership stakes. And they're going to continue to try to paint that picture. And Maxine Waters, the chair of Financial Services, and Adam Schiff, chair of Intelligence, they came out with a very strong statement tonight saying they're not going to back down.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.